Good evening, Philippines. I am Afuang. Welcome to News Desk. On tonight's headlines, Manila bears another transport strike. Government needs more 50 million pesos to rebuild Marawi City. And Miss Turkey dethroned over a controversial tweet. Another transport strike is planned to happen on September 25 and 26 to protest the phase-out plans of PUVs. To know why, Nacion has a story.
Another transport strike is planned on September 25, Monday, and September 26, Tuesday, to protest the government's gradual plan of phasing out public utility jeepneys.
Stop-and-Go Transport Coalition President June Magno said in a news briefing on Monday that they expect the participation of at least 90% of the 74,000 member operators nationwide. This early, Magno apologized to the public for the inconvenience the transport strike may cause. Under the modernization program, the public utility vehicles that are more than 50 years old will be banned from the road and will be replaced by vehicles with low carbon and low emission technology. According to the Transportation Department, a little less than 180,000 PUJs, which comprise 57% of the total PUVs, are still plying various routes. Stop-and-Go Coalition held a transport strike last February 6. They claim only big companies can afford to replace vehicles. Other groups also conducted a number of strikes in the past months, which prompted some schools to suspend classes. For News Desk, I am Nacion.
The Stop-and-Go Transport Coalition said they are also rejecting the government loan to purchase the proposed mini-buses and the buses to replace the PJs if the phase-out program is carried out.
Meanwhile, the Philippine government needs more than 50 billion pesos to rebuild Marawi City. To know why, Nathaniel Mariano has the story.
Rehabilitating Marawi City will cost billions of pesos, government officials said as troops start clearing operations in the war-torn city.
President Rodrigo Duterte on Saturday agreed that the 50 billion pesos initially pledged by the government is not enough to rebuild Marawi that served as battleground of government troops and terrorists for 4 months. 3 engineering battalions of the military are cleaning some portions of the main battle area. The heavy fighting has left buildings in ruins, walls riddled with bullet holes. He calls on Congress to pass a law indicating a budget for the rehabilitation of Marawi to make sure funds are available. The President and Lorenzana both said that the government needs more funds to rehabilitate the ruined city. Duterte visited Marawi for the 4th time last September 11, promising a vacation for the soldiers once the battle is over. The armed forces earlier said that the battle for retaking Marawi is nearing its end, but fighting is expected to intensify during the final push. Lorenzana said it will take authorities 2 weeks from now to accurately determine how much will be needed to rehabilitate Marawi. Foreign aid, if not tagged by donors for a specific use, will be used as rehabilitation funds, Lorenzana said in an interview. As of Friday, Australia has pledged 1 billion pesos, United States 730 million pesos, Thailand 100 million pesos, China 85 million pesos, and the European Union 49 million pesos. Lorenzana confirmed that the Marawi siege has also depleted the funds of the military and that they are asking for an additional 2.5 billion pesos from the Department of Budget and Management. He said that the military never received additional funding for the Marawi crisis since it began last May.
The DBM has committed to giving the military additional budget. For News Desk, I am Nathaniel Mariano.
In sports news, UP upsets the LSU and UAAP men's basketball tournament. Let's hear the story from our senior correspondent Lex Antonio.
Not only did the University of the Philippines give De La Salle University its first close contest in the UAAP men's basketball tournament, the upstart contenders actually gave the champions their first taste of defeat in their title defense. Paul Desiderio was still on fire. June Manzo and John Haboneta were pleasant surprises, and the Fighting Maroons dropped an upset axe on the heads of the Green Archers 98-87 on Saturday at the MOA Arena.
For State U, which had been dwelling at the bottom of the league for over a decade, trumping a DLSU side favored to win back-to-back championships, is its biggest win yet. Malaking panalo to, a beaming head coach Bo Perasol said post-game. More than that, they pulled off the upset even as reigning and defending MVP Ben Imbala posted another power performance with 34 points. Whatever happened, we didn't panic. We were able to get back despite the torrid shooting of Ben in the beginning, their mentor said. Making it all happen was Desiderio, who poured in a career-high 30 points on top of 6 rebounds and 5 triples. Naglaro lang ako, he expressed afterward, downplaying his second straight scoring bin. The team captain also made good on 6 of 10 triples, 2 of which punctuated the 10-2 run that turned a 3-point deficit into a 57-52 lead in the middle of the third. Of course, the Green Archers kept coming and Imbala's shortstop closed them to within 77-81 with 4 minutes and 8 seconds remaining.
Indeed, Manzo had the answer for UP and scored the first 5 points in the 7-0 counter that led to the 88-77 lead they would keep until the final buzzer. Seldom used, Haboneta also contributed with 6 points of corner triples, all coming in the final frame. In all, the Fighting Maroons bombarded their opponents with a total of 16 triples, the most in the league in over a decade. Again, this is Lex Antonio.
Now, let's look at some major happenings around the globe. In United States, more countries could be listed for harsh travel restrictions. More countries could be listed for harsh U.S. travel restrictions. More countries could be hit with tough travel restrictions to the United States after the ban on people from 6 mainly Muslim countries expires from Sunday, Trump administration officials hinted Friday. White House and Homeland Security officials said that after a 50-day review, they had identified a number of countries that could not or were not willing to meet U.S. standards for identifying potential terror threats. President Donald Trump, whose initial measures against the 6 countries were blasted as an effective Muslim ban, has yet to make a final decision on which nations will make the new list for much restricted issuance of U.S. visas, they said. However, the officials refused to identify the countries or give a number. But they said the new presidential order will implement a spectrum of measures that could range from just tougher vetting of applicants, like demanding access to their cell phones and social media accounts, to a full, open-ended travel ban. This action serves as a protection of their defenses from enemies and adversaries, and they will, quote-unquote, do everything possible to keep nefarious actors out, said Counselor to the Secretary of Homeland Security Miles Taylor. Meanwhile, Taylor adds that the goal is not to indefinitely block certain nationals from coming to the United States, but rather protect Americans until foreign governments do comply with their standards and no longer pose a risk to the welfare and the security of the United States. That left the way ahead murky for citizens of Syria, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen who have been blocked from obtaining U.S. visas since the ban began at the end of June. Meanwhile, in business news, Petron President urges PNOC to honor property lease deal. Shandy Ruado has a story.
Petron President urges PNOC to honor property lease deal. Ramon Ang, Petron President, made the call for PNOC to stick to the term of its own lease agreement.
After Ruben Lisa, PNOC President, said that the government firm under whose name many of Petron's properties are lodged would want to renegotiate the contract ahead of its expiration in August 2018. The property deal between Petron and PNOC stemmed from the former's privatization in the 1990s when its real estate assets were transferred to its parent firm PNOC for a nominal fee of 2 million pesos. Nonetheless, Ang said Petron was open and willing to sit down with the PNOC to discuss the issue, as well as any proposals that would merge to settle the issue.
Any changes that PNOC wants to propose on the term of the lease agreement should be put in writing and backed up officially by a resolution from its board of directors. For News Desk, this is Shandy Ruado.
And in entertainment news, Miss Turkey was dethroned after posting a controversial tweet. To know why, here's Leyda Gandeza.
Organizers have stripped Miss Turkey 2017 of her crown over a social media posting that was deemed insulting to the memory of 250 people killed while opposing last year's failed military coup.
Miss Turkey organizers said the 18-year-old Itir Esen was dethroned on Friday, a day after she won the contest and the right to represent Turkey at the Miss World contest in China. The organizers said in an emailed statement that her title was revoked because of a tweet in July that they described as unacceptable. Runner-up Asli Sumen will now represent Turkey in China. Media reports said Esen, a model and university student, caused a storm on social media after she posted a remark on Twitter as the country held memorials for the victims on the first anniversary of the July 15, 2016 coup attempt. Esen reportedly denied the account was hers, but Kan Sandikoglu, who heads the Miss Turkey organization, said the committee said it confirmed she was the author of the tweet.
The organization said the tweet came to their attention after the competition and that it took them hours to determine that was Esen's. For News Desk, this is Leyda Gandeza.
That's it for tonight. I am Afuang and see you again here in News Desk, where we go above and beyond the headlines. Good night.